The
Weird
Superior
Science
Spider-Man number 6. Surprisingly, Christos Gage is writing this one as well. Dan Slott on story, Christos Gage writing, Mark Bagley on pencils, John Dell and Andrew Hennessy on inks, and Edgar Delgado on colors. DC's Joe Caramagna on letters. And it's Christos Gage. We end up saying this. It feels like he's jumped on here and he needs to kind of get his footing. Things don't feel completely par for the course. They feel a little odd. And I think it's just because, I love Christos Gage. We talked about it with Spider-Boy, but the idea of it, he's not Dan Slott. So he's going to have his little differences in the dialogue and how he runs things. And I think that you can tell that in these first issues before you get used to it yourself. He gets used to how it's going because he knows these characters and he knows what's going on. But the overall story, it's paper thin. There's not much to the story, and we're 6 issues in, and I still can't tell you why this book exists or what we're going to go to. Me and you were talking before we recorded. There are some interesting things maybe me and you would be interested in to go forward with, where maybe Doc Ock, disappears with Supernova and Peter has to figure out with Anna to go get it, or vice versa, whatever would happen. It's weird because you're really, it feels like you're anchored into having to have Doc Ock and Peter in the same book, and they just keep going and clashing against each other, and I don't know where they get back together after.
Yeah, it's pretty bad breakup at this point. They got a pretty bad
you
fight.
Almost get the idea that, seriously, having a Superior Spider-Man book and having it be the idea of, that little twisty turn. This feels like what you would have done 20 years from now when Dan Slott, if he's still around, would do like a Peter David. I'm going to give you a story that happens between these 2 issues.
Which
I'm
is
going to
what
do
this was.
And but it feels like because it's more current, not that it's real, but it still feels like you have a story to tell beyond that. And I don't think he does. It feels like this is being stretched. It feels like the idea is still dealing with Supernova and the idea of when Doc Ock was Spider-Man. Even in this, where the talking is going, you have Supernova seemingly realize at one point, wait a minute, I don't think this is what it was. And even Doc Ock even admits it at the one point by the end, because she says, I'm kind of a genius. I kind of figured it out. But what does that mean? Where do you go from there? Because what do you do in this book when, you have Doc Ock, done, or I don't know. It's very odd, but we ended up where last issue we trapped Supernova in this decahedron nonsense, and she is imprisoned. Doc Ock still just can't. The guy should just lie. You're sitting there and you have trapped a person in this cell.
He's relentless with this.
Yeah, relentless about, hey, this is going to be free energy. Source. She's a power source. I'm going to be able to use energy. This unlimited. I can make all this money. I'm going to get a Nobel Prize. All this stuff. And then Peter just yells, yeah, but there's one lady in there.
It's like, clearly a woman inside there.
Yeah. And he's like, I think this is fair. And then Anna shows up. And this usually is what gets him out of this. He snaps out of it where realizes, she comes running in with her AIM suit that I guess they had for when you brought your kid to work day. I don't know.
Yeah, where'd she get that?
Yeah, she's like, hey, and in the meantime, you did have a little fight where Doc Ock ripped apart the mechanical Iron Spider arms because he says he made them, but then Peter punched Doc, and it was funny. When he punches Doc Ock.
He claws him.
Yeah, and he rips the one goggle off, and Doc Ock's yelling, you blinded me. And Peter's like, it was only one goggle.
That's going to leave a mark, though. That's a pretty big cut.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Do you see when he's like, he's squinting and stuff? It's one of those when you see him, too, when somebody who you only know is wearing glasses and they take them off, and it's like, it's like Millhouse. He takes them off, and he's got those little beady eyes.
Those little beady eyes.
And he's like, Anna, is it you? Oh, my God. And she's like, what are you doing? You can't do this. Like
Steve from American Dad has his little beady eyes.
Like, oh my God, you're doing this. You got to stop. And he's like, free energy. Oh my God, it's the best. No. And we did have that little bit of camaraderie, slight, with Supernova and Anna. Kind of, Anna. And I'm telling you that Anna doesn't flip out here immediately and says she cannot be in that closed space because we know that that's a problem. Anna kind of used it to get away, but then realized that was a bad move and actually felt bad for Supernova. Says nothing. Again, that might be a little bit of a little thing that would have been in here if Dan Slott was writing it, but Christos Gage is more concerned with, getting forward with it. But you end up where they say, oh my God, out of nowhere, this is what happens in this issue. Out of nowhere, as Doc Ock and Peter are there arguing about Supernova, the idea that, oh my God, don't you know that you used the quadridium and it's now going to overload and blow up? And you have Doc Ock, no way, my math is always right. And then Peter out of nowhere goes, oh no, it's my gauntlets.
Mm-hmm.
They're on fire. But he's not taking them off. They're overheating. He says he got to find a way to stabilize it. He can't do it there. Doc Ock then just says, yeah, while you're doing that, I'm going to leave. And he even says to Anna, come on and get in my nonsense vehicle, the Octomobile. Let's get in there.
Yeah, I don't like that thing.
I'm telling you, this thing is the TARDIS because I see the outside. There is no way that thing is fitting in that other thing. But he gets it in there. Off they go. And that's where Doc Ock says, I admit it. It was me. I love that the play here is normally you'd say, yep, it was me, Supernova. I was in the body of Peter Parker, Spider-Man, but she's Supernova in a decahedron of nonsense. So, you can go with it, but, they're going off.
And then he sheds a solitary tear.
Yep, one tear where, again, is it a misplay? Because I'm like, is that a tear or is that just the irritation of the eye? Because I've had some bad things happen with contacts and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he did just completely abandon Anna Maria, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And he says, to further the cause of science for the greater good, I must be willing to make.
I think that's just
any sacrifice. And then it's like, oh, I get it. Anna. Oh, no. I really love Peter Parker.
My eye is irritated.
I love the Spider-Mans. And then he's like, no. That's because I got clawed in the eye by that jerk. But yeah, he's going to go off and he's ditching Anna. But where do you go from there? I mean, Anna, I love her, right? Smart gal. She's always back. I mean, she can't help herself either. So they go off. But all of this ends up just then being, it's a weird, sort of, well, now Peter and Anna need something to do. Doc Ock is off with Supernova. And then they're going to try to, out of nowhere, well, we can't get rid of these gauntlets because we're near a town and the town will explode, but we'll die. But how about we throw them down the shaft where I was die-harding it up and it might blow up and we'll die. And they do that. They don't die, but they don't know if the town's okay. So then they hitch a ride with it.
Yeah, weird.
And eat carrots.
Weird progression there.
It's so weird the way you're trying. You are really showing that you didn't have an exit strategy here and you are making stuff up. It works by the end, but there's no way I'm eating carrots out of the back of a truck that's taking it to market. These things probably have crap and mud all over them. They're disgusting.
And then he's worried about paying for them too. It's
this is like my wife. We're there, and when you're a kid, but even when you're an adult, you're going around. You're in the supermarket. You might be in Aldi. Get a little hungry. You're getting grapes or something. You're like, there I go. I'll have a couple grapes, right? And you're like, I think we should tell them about the grapes. And I'm like, really? We're going to tell them about those 2 grapes. So what are they going to take a penny? I mean, get out of town.
When we were in high school, we used to go into Walmart and just grab a drink it, and then just
just
put
like
it
that.
down and never pay for it.
You grab you grab the stuff. You go over to the sporting. You set up the grill. You make some hamburgers. You just get a whole meal going. But no, the idea. Oh, do you have any money? It's like, really?
Yeah, this creepy old guy driving us around doesn't care anyway.
Yeah, look at the guy. The guy reminds me, if you ever saw the Simpsons episode when Homer is in the back of the truck and he's like, yep, Zeke sits in front with me because you can't trust pigs with watermelon. And Homer's eating all the watermelon. Oh, that's all it reminded me of. I actually thought he was going to have a pig and say something like that. And I'm not throwing shade at Anna. That was not what I meant.
Oof.
So you end up, while that's all going on and Peter and Anna are going into town to see if everything's fine, you end up having poor Spider-Boy who went to find Peter, went to find Spider-Man, ran into those wackadoo spiders that somehow in the recap says that Doc Ock set up to actually get Spider-Boy. I didn't see that. And then when everybody gets the spiders, he traps them. Spider-Boy traps them in webs, and then these spiders go up people's noses and mouths, and then they start talking like Spider-Man. They start yelling dolt. And
I was actually looking forward to this. I thought it would be cool, to see him as a superior Spider-Boy.
I actually just wanted Bailey to step it up and save Spider-Man and maybe even save Supernova. But now
maybe next issue there's something going on with it because it's on the cover. But this one just seems,
he might do it as superior Spider-Man. He's now the idea. If they're going to play the thing of, oh, Doc Ock set this up, you can't. Doc Ock should know better to make anybody else think that they're superior, because that doesn't go with making a partner or an army. that makes everybody yelling as they do here. You're adult, you're an imbecile. And there you go. And that's even what Supernova ended up pointing out. Hey, I know that, you're the one yelling adult and imbecile, so you must have been that Spider-Man deal. But that's all you get. It's just for a goof. It's like, the zombie apocalypse of Norman Osborn's Superior talk. And it ends up even going out into the streets. Everybody's getting it because the guy who wrote him into town, he's like, hey, no problem there, Ant-Man. You and the Wasp saved me a lot of times. And then Spider's going, you imbecile, you dolt. And then that's it. It really is what is happening here.
Yeah, then it's everybody's has infected by the spiders, which is...
Yeah, it's not that interesting, right? And you have Peter and Anna. Now we realize why Anna hasn't she takes off her helmet for a bit, but that's why she still has the AIM outfit on, not because of the fallout or anything. It's there so that spiders can't get to her. Peter has his mask.
Well, but they're not going to be powered, these people. They're just going to be idiots yelling out stuff,
that's what I think. They're just going to run around and have problems with people. They're just going to yell at people.
People pick and fight, but they don't have any power.
And again, I don't even think, I think they're just going to yell at each other. It's just going to be, you have to save these people because they're kind of just jerks. And also, I mean, at this point, it looks like there's like 50 people. I mean, you have numbers, they can just kind of beat you up, I guess. But Doc Ock isn't a guy who's going to beat people up. He just kind of yells and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think Christos could have came up with some more words. I mean, he says dolt too many times.
Lollygagger.
Yeah, that one's okay. Nuisance, buffoon.
Nuisance, buffoon.
Peon.
Dolt.
Too many dolts.
Yeah, imbecile, cretin, and grape. Dolt, peon. Yeah. Even then, it's not that
Fool.
Exciting. Yeah. That's all these in the top. That's how I felt after reading all three of these issues and then having to record. I'm like, am I an imbecile, a cretin, and ingrate? I'm all of them. Adult.
All of the
Why
above.
are we doing this? Why do we do this? But it's just it's one of those issues that you're reading and you can see it. Like, it's almost like you can picture the thing going on and like, well, what am I supposed to do with this, Dan? He's like, I don't know. Just get us out of this. But it makes it feel like nothing is big. Nothing really matters. I'm telling you, it's very much, in a way, it's a more jokey kind of. I'll even say it's a more, nice enough way to get, like, the same thing happened in Amazing Spider-Man this week. You're doing crazy stuff there, but that was annoying me to all end. This is just kind of like, it's a shame because we like the book and it feels like it never really had much legs to it, and they're trying to get somewhere, but it doesn't really feel like it matters. At one point, there's no tension to think, oh my God, this nameless town that we were in, like the stuff that Anna's yelling, and then Peter and Anna are trying to fix these gauntlets. And basically, every time Anna goes to snip a wire, Peter gets Spidey sense, and they know not to do it. It's not played very well.
Yeah.
But at the end, I think they just want to get to this, the walking Norman here, the walking, not Norman, the walking Ock. But in the meantime, what would you give it?
I mean, I still enjoy this book.
It's
I mean,
okay.
it's okay. This one's a 6 for me.
Yeah, I'm a 5. And this goes with, we like this and Spider-Boy, but Spider-Boy was a little down too. But hopefully these can come back because, like, some people use the Ultimate Spider-Man as their alternate deal. Hey, I don't like that. Well, we had more than that. We had these, and I'm telling you, that Spectacular Spider-Man, like Greg Leisman, can suck it. That's even worse. Like, how can you read this many Spider-Man books and get so angry about all of them? It's what happens to me. But that's that. That is it for this week's Superior Spider-Man. And next issue, I'm sure that people will get mad as well because they think that Spider-Boy has his own book. But we'll see. Superior Spider-Boy. Now I'm depressed.
Weird science
is the revolution.